Today we are going to have our first session on the neural control and coordination in human. The topic is vast enough. Therefore, I will divide it in a few sessions. What is coordination? First, we have to understand that what is coordination. Coordination is the process through which two or more organs interact and complement the function of one another. Coordination is the process through which two or more organs interact and complement the function of one another. This coordination is done by both the nervous system as well as endocrine system. So the neural system, which is also called a nervous system, and the endocrine system jointly coordinate and integrate all the activities of the organs so that they function in a synchronized fashion. The nervous system uses fast electrical impulses and neurotransmitter for rapid short-term responses. But the endocrine system relies on hormones transported through the bloodstream to target cells for slower but long-lasting effect. So in nervous system, the effect is rapid but short-term. But in endocrine system, the effect is slower but long-lasting. The neural system is composed of highly specialized cells called neurons, which can detect, receive and transmit different kinds of stimuli. A stimulus is any change in the internal or external environment, which could be light, sound, heat, touch, pressure, chemical, etc. These changes are first detected by sensory receptors. These sensory receptors then generate nerve impulses. These impulses or information are carried by the sensory neurons from the sensory receptors to the central nervous system. Sensory neurons are also called afferent neurons. So sensory neurons and afferent neurons are same. Sensory receptors are of various types depending upon the stimulus they detect. Like mechanoreceptors detect touch, pressure, vibration, stretch, sound, etc. Whereas thermoreceptors detect temperature, hot and cold. Photoreceptors detect light. Chemoreceptors detect chemical. Nociceptors sense pain. Proprioceptors sense position and movement of the muscles and joint. Every sensory neuron is associated with a sensory receptor, but the receptor is not always a separate structure. So in some cases, the sensory neuron itself acts as the receptor. The free nerve ending, that is the terminal of the sensory neuron, directly detects the stimulus, as in case of nociceptors and thermoreceptors. In other cases, a separate receptor cell detects the stimulus and then passes the signal to a sensory neuron, as in case of photoreceptors in the retina. Another example could be taste receptor cells in the taste bud. The sensory fibers, which is also called afferent fibers, transmit nerve impulses from tissues or organs to the central nervous system. The central nervous system interprets the information and decides whether a response is required or not. If response is required, the central nervous system sends regulatory impulses, that is instructions, through motor fibers to the concerned peripheral tissues or organs or glands, which are denoted as effector. Motor fibers are also called efferent fibers. The effector, that is the peripheral tissue, the organ or the gland, then produces an appropriate response such as muscle contraction or gland secretion. Let us take an example. Suppose you were unknowingly touch a hot object. Heat stimulates the thermoreceptors and nociceptors in the skin. The sensory neurons, that is the afferent neurons, carry the impulse to the spinal cord. The spinal cord immediately activates a reflex by sending impulses through the motor neurons to the arm muscles. As a result, the hand is withdrawn quickly. The human neural system is divided into two parts. One is the central nervous system, which is written as CNS in short, and the other part is peripheral nervous system, which is written as PNS in short. So the human neural system or the human nervous system is divided into two parts, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system includes the brain and the spinal cord. The brain is protected within the cranium and the spinal cord is protected within the vertebral column. Central nervous system is the site of information processing and control. Whereas the peripheral nervous system, which is written as PNS in short, this peripheral nervous system comprises all the nerves of the body associated with the central nervous system. As discussed earlier, the nerve fibers of the peripheral nervous system are of two types, afferent fibers and efferent fibers. The afferent fibers, which is also called sensory fibers, transmit impulses from the tissues or organs to the central nervous system, whereas the efferent fibers, which is also called motor fibers, transmit regulatory impulses from the central nervous system to the concerned peripheral tissues or organs. The peripheral nervous system is divided into two divisions. One is somatic nervous system, another one is autonomic nervous system, or it is called a somatic neural system and autonomic neural system. Somatic nervous system controls voluntary movements. Actually, somatic nervous system relays impulses from the central nervous system to the skeletal muscles, thus produces voluntary actions like walking, writing, speaking, lifting, smiling, etc. So whether I will walk or run or will sit will depend upon my will. Whether I will write or not write, whether I will speak or not speak, whether I will smile or not smile, depends upon our will. And this is controlled by the somatic nervous system, which all controls the voluntary movements of our body. Whereas the autonomic nervous system controls the involuntary functions, as the autonomic nervous system transmits impulses from the central nervous system to the involuntary organs, glands, smooth muscles and cardiac muscles of our body. Therefore, heart rate, respiration, pupil size, digestion are all controlled by the autonomic nervous system. Whether we can decide that whether our heart will beat or not, never. So this is the involuntary function. Autonomic nervous system is further classified into sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is activated during stress, emergencies, fear, excitement or vigorous physical activity. Its effects are increased heart rate and force of contraction, increased respiration, thus dilates bronchi to increase airflow, dilates pupils, decrease salivation and digestion, increases sweating, increases blood glucose by stimulating glycogen breakdown, increases blood flow to the skeletal muscles. Therefore, its main role is to prepare the body for rapid action. Suppose a dog started chasing you and trying to bite you. Obviously, you will get frightened. As usual, your sympathetic nervous system will get activated and your body will start showing the effects as discussed. Now you are having two options. Either you fight with the dog or you flight from that place as the situation demands. Therefore, sympathetic nervous system is denoted by fright, fight or flight. Suppose you have observed that the dog has stopped chasing you now. So, you will become a bit relaxed. Then your sympathetic nervous system will calm down gradually and your parasympathetic nervous system will gradually get activated. The parasympathetic nervous system is activated when the body is relaxed and at rest. Parasympathetic nervous system is activated during resting, meditation, relaxing, sleeping, eating a meal, etc. Obviously, here the effects will be opposite to that of the sympathetic nervous system. When the parasympathetic nervous system gets activated, the heart rate decreases to normal. The bronchi gets constricted to normal size. The pupils constricts. Salivation and digestive secretion increases, thus promotes better digestion. Therefore, parasympathetic nervous system is denoted by rest and digest.